It's 2 words, baby.
Hey, all you party people.
We're here. Welcome. It's been a while.
T-N. Radio!
We got a heck ton to talk about today. It's going to be fun. You know what? So, we have a game we're going to play later that requires us to hear things or have loud music playing, and
John's a dummy.
John's a dummy, didn't bring the right headphones, and so we have the only thing in the building that I think can play it, and it's an old iPod Shuffle of mine that I had in the sound booth. And I'm starting to remember, I think the only thing it has on it is Left Behind, the dramatization.
Oh, that's what I get. That's what I get.
We'll see.
That's what I get.
Hush up, Oriole. I was close. We tied this last one. I was real close. I was really one match away. All right. We're going to start recording so we can get in, get out. We got a lot to talk about.
You may know who we are, but you don't know why we're here. But let me tell you, we're a wrestling podcast. We're a family-friendly wrestling podcast, and we're the best one out there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 2 words.
Might be the only family-friendly wrestling podcast.
That went from, like, Tough Guy Razor Ramon to Dr. James Dobson really fast.
And that pretty much describes what the show's like.
It's Diesel and focus on the family. Welcome, everybody, to 2 words. My name is John. I am your host. And with me, as always, my tag partner, Radio Matt.
What up?
And today, we have a fun episode. We are talking about character changes.
Yeah.
The new guy, if you will. All of the fun times when you've taken a great character and you've changed him into something else, and sometimes it works, and many times it doesn't. But we're going to get to that. But before we do, we got some wrestling news.
It's been a busy 2 weeks.
It's been a busy 2 weeks. It's been a really busy 2 weeks. And most of, like, I was looking through my list, and most of my stuff is kind of, like, it's old news now.
Right. In just 2 weeks' time.
Like, the news cycle for wrestling has been really fast. It's like a 15-minute news cycle, man.
Yeah. We do have one. Oriole in our chat here on Twitch is throwing one in, and I just saw this too. The gold medal winner from the Olympics was just signed to the WWE.
Well, we see how well that's worked out in the past.
And his name is Gable something.
Ah, man. This is Gable.
Which means he won't be known as Gable in
definitely WWE. Won't be.
Yeah.
You read me out there. That's cool. I mean, I'm like we talked about last time. Like, these guys are superior athletes.
Yeah, I mean, they're
gonna make
Kurt Angle fantastic.
Who's his brother? He's got a brother in the WWE.
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't know who it is.
I don't know who it is either. Oriole, our news correspondent, get back to us in the Twitch chat, and we will tell all of the people. I'm just kind of looking at my list, like what's even relevant anymore. Braun Strowman hinted that he's going to go make an impact somewhere.
Yep.
Which is a good move for him. I don't know that there's really a place for him in AEW proper.
Yeah, I don't think so either. At least not right now.
I think he, like, when they do their invasion storyline, which they're going to do, sure, he shows up and it's great. I just don't think they have a place.
Yeah, not at the moment.
No.
But I mean, Impact would be a great place for him because he will still be able to be AEW adjacent. So if there is ever a situation to bring him over, it can be a temporary thing. Yeah, no, it'd be great, and it'd be good for him. It'd be good for everybody. So Oriole's saying his brother is Bobby Stevenson.
I don't know who Bobby Stevenson is.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Bobby Stevenson. I'll have to look him up now.
Bobby Stevenson.
Bobby.
Oh, I misspelled it.
Is he a governor?
There's 1,000 things.
There's 1,000 Bobby Stevenson.
That is a very well known name. That ain't it.
That's definitely not it. Anyway, Iconics have changed their name, filed a new trademark for their new tag team name, Inspiration, spelled with 2 I's for a double dose of looking at stuff. That's one of my favorite jokes about double letters from the movie Idiocracy. He's talking about befriending. Upgrade, spelled with 2 D's for a double dose of his pimping pleasure.
Okay, so apparently Bobby Stevenson is a trainer at the Performance Center.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, I got you.
Oh, cool,
Okay,
cool.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm really just glad that the Iconics are staying together. I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we found out that the idea to break up was their own idea.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a WWE thing. They decided to break up. So the fact that they realized, yeah, you know what? We're better together because no one really cared for us separate.
I feel like Billy Kay mostly was like, nobody cares about either one of us. And Peyton Royce is like, I don't know, I'm getting some pretty good heat. And she's like, nah. I think
I've been hearing things that nobody really cares.
Only either one of us. We're both so alone. She's like, I just had a match at SummerSlam. It's like, yeah, so alone.
Not being used at all.
Underutilized, both of us.
I got one here. We got KO is teasing a jump to AEW at the end of the year when his contract runs out.
I did see that.
He tweeted
At the end of this year or end of next year? I heard it was 2022.
I thought it was the end of this year.
But I also heard that was like supposedly.
Well, he tweeted the coordinates for Mount Rushmore and then deleted it.
Yeah.
And the significance of that is that was basically their stable name when he was teamed up with Adam Cole and the Young Bucks.
In Guerrilla Pro Wrestling.
Yep. And he changed his location to Almost There, and the Young Bucks changed their location to There.
Oh.
And so those are the reasons.
I think that the Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan situation.
Brian Danielson.
Brian Danielson.
Don't dead name him.
I'm sorry.
Dead name him.
I'm sorry. Brian Danielson. I believe that situation has to be the last straw for WWE to realize, like, oh, we need to start making people happier here.
Right. Yeah, we need to do whatever we can.
And I read an article that was like, Kevin Owens is going to be the first guy that gets a massive pay raise.
Almost certainly.
Because, like a massive pay raise and a title run and anything he wants, because they just want him to stay.
I mean, he's a massively good wrestler, a good character, a draw.
Yeah.
And always has been, and he's been underutilized too lately. And so, yeah, they better hang on to him. Speaking of Adam Cole, let me just throw this in there since we were there.
Yep.
WWE's plans for Adam Cole when he moved up to the main roster was to put him in the Leo Rush position of being a tiny manager for Keith Lee. Yeah. Not a wrestler. It would have been fun, but it wouldn't have been what Adam Cole wanted for sure.
Adam Cole would have been so miserable.
Right. Absolutely. So I see why there wasn't even a hesitation for him to 9 days after his last match run to All Out.
Yeah. Which, like, good on him for, I think what WWE is going to run into with the Adam Cole situation is everybody who signs a new contract that's worth anything in pro wrestling, I should say, like anybody who's never pro wrestling, like anybody that comes over from, like, you know, I played for defensive end for the Jets last year and now I'm going to wrestle because I'm huge.
Yeah.
Like, anybody who's like been on the indie circuit for a long time is going to sign a contract and say, I'm going to sign this contract, but you're going to get rid of the 90-day non-compete clause.
Right.
Because Adam Cole did it.
Yep.
Andrade did it. Like, and once you get rid of that, I mean, that's really the WWE's only, like, bullet in the chamber. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, you can't make any money for 3 months. People are going to forget about you. Which in this business kind of helps, but...
Sometimes, yeah. Because it makes for another surprise.
There were reports that Jim Ross was stepping down from commentary, and AEW was stepping away from wrestling. And a tweet from Jim Ross claims that is news to him.
He's had to debunk a lot of rumors in his career.
He's very quick to do it.
Oh, always on Twitter too.
It's like Jim Ross is quitting, and he's like, somebody should have told me. We're always glad Jim Ross is around, though.
He is a treasure.
He is. He was. I didn't love him with Jerry Lawler.
Get out of town. That was the best duo.
I loved him, and I love him. Was it him, JBL, and Michael Cole for a little bit?
I feel like that combination existed at one point.
That had to have existed. That was beautiful. What are we doing with Rick Boogs? Like, what is Rick Boogs?
What is even Rick Boogs? Rick Boogs. It's just a fun name to say.
What's weird to me is that they're doing, and I'm not super caught up, so I may be out of the loop. But it's kind of like, it's weird that they're stepping. It seems like the vignettes are looking like it's going to step away from that character with Elias.
Right. And then Rick Boogs is
and then Rick Boogs just kind of walks in. I read a story that they gave, like, they called him up and was like, hey, tonight we need you in Detroit. You're going to be playing guitar to Nakamura's theme song. And he's like, I kind of play guitar. Like, somebody saw me with a guitar one time. Like,
I believed it.
I mean, it's good enough. Somebody tweeted out that there were not enough black wrestlers getting championship opportunities. They were complaining about the people of color or the lack of people of color in championship positions. And Brandy Rhodes kind of clapped back on that, as the kids say, saying that when black wrestlers do get into championship positions, nobody really supports them or cares for them. I don't think that's 100% accurate. I mean, like, I love Kofi Kingston. I just do. I don't like him for any other reason because he's a fantastic wrestler. But the fact that he was a black champion, the fact that he was the first WWE black champion in 2017, mind you, that was a big deal, and even I can understand that and notice that.
Right.
Like, I think a lot of people did note that.
Absolutely they did.
I think a lot of people.
And he had a long run too.
He had a long run,
and everyone loved it.
And the current WWE champion is black.
Yeah, and also most people love him in the title position right now.
He's got a Muslim manager.
All of us are ready for Big E to cash in and have a long run of his own.
Big E was champion and everybody loved it. Now they took it away a little certain, but he was Intercontinental champion. Rich Swann is Impact champion. Was Impact champion.
I don't remember.
It's so hard to know who's got the championships. No, because Christian Cage is Impact champion now.
Keith Lee, NXT champion.
Yeah.
For a while.
I think it's a strange statement, and maybe it's just like what she's saying is like when black people get into that role, other black people tend to shut them down.
Possibly.
Because everybody's natural disposition is to try to make people feel inferior about their accomplishments.
Yeah, well, I mean, even especially in wrestling, when it's all about your character and your gimmick.
What you got?
NXT's new logo is apparently supposed to go into effect this week. New logo, new leadership, new design. And Triple H was so happy about it, he had a heart attack.
Did that really
happen? He had a cardiac event, and then he had to have surgery based on it.
I didn't mean to laugh, Hunter, but...
Well, he's fine.
When you things... When you're so fit and so important that people refer to your heart attacks as cardiac events.
Apparently it's like a genetic thing, so it's something that he expected to happen at some point in his life. It's just...
It looks like he's probably got high blood pressure.
Yeah. It's just ironic that it happened the week before, basically, his NXT dies, which is so sad.
It's probably...
so sad.
He probably doesn't take medication because that medication makes you pee 9 times a day, and he just doesn't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And I'm not near as busy as he is.
And my last one is Netflix. Here, actually, I'm going to read the story. This is from
read the story.
Cultaholic. WWE and Netflix have announced an interactive horror film called Escape the Undertaker, where the New Day is trying to escape
I'm in.
the dead man and his spooky mansion. It will premiere on October 5th, and it'll be a part of the streaming services Netflix and Chill's 2021 season. And yeah, it's going to be one of those. It's going to be another one of those like you choose your adventure kind of things, which
that could be fun.
I mean, it almost makes me want to get a month of Netflix to experience that.
You should come over and we should play it together.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you have Netflix, don't you? Yeah,
we'll stream. We'll stream us doing it together.
That'll be fun.
It'll be the best. Let's see. WWE and Bloomhouse Entertainment are coming out with a mini series called The United States versus Vince McMahon.
Oh, right.
Playing off of the case, the state versus McMahon. State versus McMahon, U.S. versus McMahon. Going over the trials in the early 90s or late 90s about... Why are you laughing already?
I'm remembering how he was doing the thing that you see villains do whenever they're trying to look sympathetic in court. He was wearing the neck brace around his neck because he had some sort of accident.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this will make him look sympathetic to me.
Going to be talking about the trials in the 90s.
I'm really wondering if they addressed
about
steroids
and performance enhancing drugs in the WWE, which I gotta tell you, I never really understood what the problem was
with taking steroids,
with them being on steroids. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's not a real competition
because there is no state commission,
right?
Like they're
with professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's weird.
Not saying it's a great thing, but saying there doesn't seem to be a need for the government to get involved because it's not a real sport. Like,
especially at that time, your desire would be that everybody was on steroids.
Back then, yeah.
And I don't really know anything about steroids, so I mean, like, you know.
Well, I mean, we do know a little bit about what happens thanks to Benoit.
I'm aware. And that's
but that hadn't happened yet, and nothing like that had happened yet in the WWE.
That was also more about TBI than
partially.
That was a cocktail of several bad things.
Yeah.
Speaking of TBI, but let me back up. I had something else to say about the United States versus Vince McMahon. I am not expecting it to be full of that much truth.
Yeah.
Because it is being put on by WWE
and Bloomhouse, which is not a
and the thing is like Vince McMahon has no problem making himself look kind of dumb in the ring, but he will not have his person questioned.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. If it comes out and says, yeah, Vince McMahon was shoving steroids down guys' throats, I'll be like, okay, that's probably the truth. But if they come out and be like, oh, Vince McMahon is totally innocent, probably not. Says the guy who says Vince McMahon. Yeah.
All right. All Out.
All Out.
We got to talk about that. In my opinion, the best pay-per-view since WrestleMania 17.
That's a bold statement.
I mean
statement, Cotton.
I mean it. I didn't hate a single thing that happened on that pay-per-view. I even liked the Big Show match that lasted all of 5 minutes. I mean...
Yeah. So I didn't watch everything in depth. I got to see the big hits and the big spoilers and stuff. And I watched the entire CM Punk match. What I will say is that I am excited for CM Punk's return. I am excited for it. I'm excited to see where he goes. But that match felt like just fan service.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
But the fans really the fans were singing to his theme song, and like nobody knows the words to Cult of Personality except for me and like 4 other people. And they were screaming it's clobbering time. But then he got in the ring, and it really felt like there was a lot of just like taking in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like I always compare it to, or somebody compared that sort of thing, and it worked really well as an analogy. I think that his next pay-per-view match is going to be his Wrath of Khan. Meaning, if you're a Trekkie, which I'm assuming if you're a wrestling fan, you might also be a Trekkie. The first Star Trek film was like the first big budget thing that Star Trek ever got to do. So 90% of that film is just glory shots of the USS Enterprise, and it's just ba ba ba.
I think it's like
ba, ba, ba.
I think there's a 12-minute segment where they're just showing you the
And then it's a
Enterprise.
different angle. It's ba 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 ba. New angle. Ba 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 ba.
Incredibly long.
And then Wrath of Khan came along, and it was like this beautiful story, and the action sequences were great, and the movie was really, really well. So I think we had to get the motion picture out of the way for CM Punk. I think the next match is going to be phenomenal.
I was sitting here ready to judge your Star Trek analogy, but you did a good job.
Thank you.
No, and I agree. And I do believe that this was a fan service match. I think it kind of had to be.
Yeah.
And
There's nothing else.
right. I mean, it was the big celebration of he's back.
Yeah.
And they gave everybody what everybody wanted. A nice, happy return that made him look like $1 million.
Yeah.
The match of the night, in my opinion, which might be match of the year, possibly match of the decade, was Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros in the steel cage for the title. Hot dang.
Yeah.
Best cage match I've ever seen. Pretty brutal. There was a boot with thumbtacks all over the bottom that just got hot potatoed around to see who was going to get kicked next.
Hot potato.
The kind of high risk spots and reversals, and my gosh, the blood everywhere. It was so good. It felt like WWE in the mid 90s. Like it felt like that Mankind era.
Yeah. I think that
Jack.
AEW made a statement with All Out.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, really did. You know, it's like they've been building for 2 years to go, all right, this is what we got.
And then 3 WWE crossovers with, we already mentioned Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson, but also Ruby Soho.
Ruby Soho.
Who looked fantastic. Also looked fantastic on Dynamite this week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I was really surprised at how many people cared that Ruby Soho was over there. I mean,
They were chanting her name before she even came out.
Nothing against Ruby Soho, but she didn't make the biggest splash in WWE.
Yeah, not at all. And I really think that's
Wasn't
more
her
WWE's fault.
Yeah, it wasn't her fault at all.
WWE just is really struggling with how to use their talent because they have 2 people who are the people in charge that think they know what everybody wants and aren't listening to what everybody says they want.
That's rough.
And it's been that way for a while. I think I told this to you on Wednesday when we talked. I feel like WWE is putting themselves back in the position they were when WCW was taking off, where now they're this clean-cut promotion again, where they're not doing the hardcore stuff. They're not doing the stuff that really draws the eyes. They're keeping it the family-friendly. And they're also not really listening to the fans. And I fear we might really have another kind of actual war on our hands. Because I think up until this point, AEW's still kind of been... And money-wise, of course, they're not anywhere near WWE, and they probably won't be like making money. But when it comes to what the fans want to see, I would take that all-out pay-per-view again over anything WWE has done in decades.
Oh, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
really is.
Well, when we come back, we've got a fun game we haven't played in 7 years. And then we're going to talk about some character changes. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the Two Words Podcast. For those of you who are familiar with Matt and myself and LTN Radio and the story behind LTN Radio.
Storied history.
Storied history. You may know that we used to run a podcast. This all started because we ran a podcast called The Back Row Baptist. And in that, we used to play several different fun games.
Yep.
One of those games being the Whisper Challenge, made famous on Jimmy Kimmel? Not
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon.
Late Night with Jimmy Fallon.
And so we thought it would be fun to play some Whisper Challenge, except with some wrestling words. And I
Words
think,
and phrases, right? Because I
words
did
and-
mostly phrases.
I did mostly words, but that's fine.
Okay.
We didn't really discuss the rules, so we're gonna make it happen. Now the rules are: I'm gonna go first. Matt is gonna has some noise canceling headphones in, and he's gonna put some loud music on, and I am gonna try to get him to guess these words. Now it's mutually assured destruction because I'm going to legitimately try to help him figure these words out, and he's gonna do the same for me. I'm not gonna like mumble or try to not move my lips. We're gonna try to play fair. We're nothing if not fair here at the Two Words Podcast.
So what we need to do is we need to say it into the mic clearly, whisper it loudly into the mic, say this is what I'll be saying, just so they're clear about it.
All right.
But
Can you hear me, Matt Coker?
I can hear you. Let me start the music there. I'm going to be listening to
Yes, I can't hear you.
I'm listening to LTN radio right now. What's playing as we're recording?
LTN radio.
Turn it up real loud.
Not this
Okay.
podcast, though. Can you hear me, Matt? Are you ready? You could be lying. All right. So the first word is going to be sweet chin music. Proof.
You ready?
Yep. I've already given them the word. Sweet chin music.
I saw a rake your booty in there. Try that again.
You got it.
I got it.
Sweet
So
chin.
start again. Sorry.
Sweet chin music.
This time I saw twist your booty.
Sweet chin music.
Hold on. One more time.
Sweet chin music.
Sweet chin music.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Twist your booty. Twist your booty, y'all. Okay.
All right. The next word is Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy.
Worst castle.
This is a hard word because orange is very difficult. Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy?
You're very good.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. I thought you were going like Meat Castle or something.
Meat
like
Castle! The next word is Judas Effect. The Chris Jericho finisher. Judas Effect.
Jerry's fat.
Judas Effect.
One more time.
Judas Effect.
Twist of Fate?
Nope.
No? Oh. Okay, one more time.
Judas Effect.
One more time.
I can't say it without smiling. Judas Effect.
I don't
may
know.
not get that
I have
one.
no idea.
Judas Effect.
Judas Effect. Okay. I really thought I had it with Twist of Fate. Sorry, hold on. The radio stop. Don't say another one.
That was 3. Okay.
Okay.
What are we doing? 5?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Bad News Barrett. Bad News Barrett.
Banjos something.
Bad News Barrett.
Banjo Bear.
So close. Bad News Barrett.
Bad News Barrett.
Yeah.
Ah. Goodness gracious.
All right, last one. Is gonna be Starship Pain. Starship Pain.
What?
Starship Pain.
I'm seeing pee-pee in there, and I don't think it's pee-pee.
Starship Pain. I can see why
Something pee-pee is all I'm seeing. I can't get it out of my head. Hold on.
Starship Pain.
Star something pee-pee. One more time.
Starship Pain.
Okay, I didn't see pee-pee that time.
Starship Pain.
I saw pee-pee again.
Pee-pee.
I don't know.
Starship Pain. You're so close.
Okay, P and P. I saw pee-pee.
Pain, yeah.
Starship Pain. That's what I saw.
Saw pee-pee.
Okay, so I got 3. Is that all 5?
Yeah, that was all 5.
I got 3 of them, right?
You did get 3 of them.
Okay. Jeez. Oh, gosh. That's hard, dude. I forgot how hard that is.
Yeah, this is a hard game.
Okay. Let's hope there's music on this thing. All right. Has power. Oh. Okay. Come on up here on my phone. Was I yelling into the mic? 'Cause now I feel like I was yelling into the mic.
I was whispering very awkwardly. The word is Starship Pain.
Today's word. Okay. Is it Left Behind?
No,
What is it?
it's Rush Limbaugh. It's Limbaugh.
How old is this? It's been sitting in the sound booth for, I think, 7 years. Is there any music on it at all?
More
Limbaugh? I do not remember downloading Limbaugh, honestly.
something about the Nicholas Kristoff column. I don't even know what that's referring to.
You know, I'm willing to bet I downloaded a bunch of them to listen to when I was cleaning the church because I didn't have like a podcast thing
What's up?
for him. I said I'm willing to bet I downloaded them to listen to while I was cleaning the
Yeah.
church way back then.
This is legitimately, that's the only thing. There's only one
Just-
episode of the Rush Limbaugh show.
That's really
Yeah.
weird. Okay. Can you turn it up loud enough where you can't hear me?
I think I can. Let's see.
The reason why he can't plug into my phone is because I have a new fangled jack. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
What?
Oh, it's loud.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Rush Limbaugh. Whether you agree with his politics or not. What are you doing?
I'm making this work. I'm trying to make. My dad used to listen to Rush Limbaugh every single day. I was back on AM FM radio.
Did you bring my other headphones up
Yep.
here? Oh, okay. I can really hear it.
And I can hear you laughing.
But I can hear it out here. We're hearing Rush Limbaugh. We can hear it. You gotta use the earbuds. Scoot back or something. All right. Just yell your answers. Okay. This is ridiculous. All right. The first word is Adam Cole, baby. Ready? Adam Cole, baby.
Alibaba.
Adam Cole, baby.
I am seeing something incredibly inappropriate. One more time.
Adam Cole, baby.
Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, there you go. All right. The second one is Festival of Friendship. Here we are. Festival of Friendship.
I didn't get any of that.
Festival of Friendship.
Fistful of dollars.
Festival of Friendship.
One more time.
Festival of Friendship.
Festival of Friendship?
Yeah. Good job. Okay. All right. The third one is Do the Muscle Man Dance. Old Bray Wyatt throwback. All right. Do the Muscle Man Dance.
Is it hail damage?
Do the Muscle Man Dance.
Something about black guys?
No.
What?
Do the Muscle Man Dance.
I got nothing.
Do the Muscle Man Dance.
Dude, must have been.
Something about black guys?
Oh,
What the
that
heck?
was. I don't. Something about black guys? Like, I don't.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay. Back in there. All right. The next one is Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
I'm still seeing Alibaba. I feel like I'm
I feel like
caught
we're
up on
repeating
something.
it again. Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
What? One more time?
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Hannah is rolling?
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
There we go. Good job.
Hannah is rolling.
All right. Last one. Last one is Stomp a mud hole and walk it dry. I think that's the last one. Yeah. Stomp a mud hole and walk it dry.
Nope.
Stomp a mud hole and walk it dry. I can really hear Rush Limbaugh.
I'm seeing like stop at something.
Put your headphones in. Stomp a mud hole and walk it dry.
Stomp a mud hole and walk it dry?
Yes. Okay, turn Rush Limbaugh off. Yes.
Turn off Rush Limbaugh. He was extra conspiracy theories that day.
Oh, okay, you beat me, man. You got 4. Good job. That's hard, though, isn't it?
It is that's a hard game, man. Especially with Rush yelling in your ear.
I gotta bet that was more distracting.
It was very distracting.
Because you're hearing him actually say words.
Yeah.
While you're trying to look for words.
That Muscle Man dance, I couldn't get that at all.
I had my backup options were Meat Castle, but I already said that because I thought you had said that, so I didn't use that. And why is my name on here?
I would not have gotten that
Yeah,
one. Not even at all.
I thought that one was a little rough. So,
Well, that's the Whisper Challenge. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to that as much as we enjoyed doing it.
we'll do better preparing for it next time.
Yeah, maybe. When we come back, we're talking character changes. Keep it here. And welcome back. That was weird.
And welcome back, everybody.
To the Two Words Podcast here on KMOD Radio, Commode Country.
Start that over here. All right.
And welcome back to the Two Words Podcast. Today, we're talking about character changes. You know, sometimes somebody can be rolling be a really, really great wrestler, but have such a lack of personality that it makes me not care about them at all. Because on the opposite, sometimes they can have just so much character, but absolutely no in-ring talent, and it makes me also not care about them at all. Sometimes, though, those special occasions, somebody has a really great character, and somebody in creative goes and ruins that. Or makes it better. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse.
Sometimes.
We're going to figure that out.
Sometimes it's a long journey. Through multiple bad characters.
Yeah, through multiple bad characters. So we just kind of have this list, and we're going to talk about these different character changes. Some of them good, some of them bad. We don't really have them separated out because a lot of times you see a guy go from good to bad to good, or from bad to really good to really bad. Like, it kind of ebbs and flows.
It's a shift.
So first on my list I want to talk about is John Cena.
Oh, okay.
Because John Cena started off with like the prototype character, and then he just came out as like the very generic video game character. And then he realized he was about to get fired.
Aggression.
Yeah. Then he came out and he realized like he was about to get fired because nobody cared about him. So he started doing the Doctor of Thugonomics.
He straight up went up to Stephanie with that, right? Like, wasn't that
so.
Like he just approached her as that character and rap something right there.
This is what I'm doing.
And yeah, it was like a big hit.
But then what's cool about Cena is that he took that and it really, really worked for that period of time. And then he realized
some of his raps were filthy.
They were really filthy.
Like that
Most
one,
of them talked about his wiener.
The one where they were at the Royal Rumble and he did the entire entrance like for the entire 2 minutes rapping, like he didn't even get in the ring until the next countdown was already started.
Yeah.
He said he was making touching yourself jokes and all kinds of stuff in that thing.
According to John Cena, John Cena has a very big penis.
This is a fancy
Sources, John Cena. We're a news outlet. We gotta cite our sources.
Oh gosh. Okay, continue.
Okay, fine. You can cut that out. Whatever. But he did that, and then he realized like he wasn't going to be able to keep that up for too long. Yeah. So then he became like the family-friendly John Cena, and he's been able to do all of that sort of stuff. And it's like you have this longevity as being the most hated person in the WWE sometimes. But like you figured out a way to make it work. It's really pretty brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. My first one I have is Mick Foley, who was kind of like a de-evolution back to his regular character, his original character. So he was Cactus Jack, his first big name.
Yep.
Cactus Jack. Then he had the 4 interchangeable faces. Okay, so he was Mankind in WWE. That's what we first saw him in WWE as. Then he reverted to Dude Love, which was his original character.
Have mercy.
That he did when he was a kid, a teenager.
Yeah.
That he always wanted to be. Then he came back as Cactus Jack in WWE for the first time. Then back to Mankind. But this time, instead of the brown shirt wearing Boiler Room Mankind, it was the weird kind of corporate Mankind with the suit with the shirt and tie, but it was all disheveled and whatnot. And at first it was like he was a tool for the corporation, but eventually he just became this big face character that everybody loved. He was a very unlikable, lovable character, to begin with. Like it was this weird combination of nobody's gonna like you, and yet everybody loves you.
Yeah,
you're not the typical wrestler, and but it was his devotion to all these characters and the fun aspect of having like basically 4 interchangeable faces.
Yeah.
But then he even devolved beyond that to just Mick Foley.
Yeah. Now he's just him,
and everybody still loves that. I mean, it's like he started with a character and reinvented himself as himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt started off as Husky Harris.
Wrong.
What did he start off as?
He started off as Alex Rotundo.
Alex Rotundo.
Then Duke in a Dukes of Hazzard gimmick with his brother, and they went as Duke and Bo.
Why have I never seen this?
This was an FCW before it became an XT.
Yeah.
But anyway, then
That's amazing.
Husky Harris.
Then Husky Harris, and then he went away for a very long time, and then he came back as Bray Wyatt with the Wyatt family, and then he became the Fiend. And like, I went through phases with the Fiend, but ended up really kind of enjoying where they settled up with it.
I didn't go through any phases. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I loved the very beginning of it when he was just doing Firefly Funhouse. I told somebody, like, if he just does this for a year, doesn't get in the ring, doesn't even like challenge anybody, just sits around and does these weird things, like, do that. I don't care. Build that character up. Make it happen. But then we got the Fiend, and then we got the weird version of the Fiend that was all the burn victim Fiend.
Okay, I take it back. I hated that.
But
they got rid of him pretty quickly. Thank goodness.
Yeah, with the use.
But then they got rid of him pretty quickly.
With the use of
that.
magic, if you remember.
Just walked through a tunnel and he was suddenly a normal Fiend again.
He walked through that same tunnel. The Weeknd walked through at the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, you're
Same
right.
tunnel. So I don't know. I think like the concept of reinventing himself, it worked because people fell in love with Bray Wyatt to begin with.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, he was just a different, more messed up character version of that same character. And so, but even the character development when he was Eater of Worlds, because if you remember in WrestleMania 30, he did the whole trying to goad John Cena into like being the bad guy.
Yeah.
And he like sat in the middle of the ring and like was like, hit me with a chair. Come on, man. Do it. Embrace who you are. And they were able to use that like 6 years later.
Yeah.
As like part of his whole character story arc. I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah, I did like that. It was his last two characters anyway have been very story driven.
Yeah.
The story is the heaviest element. The wrestling is almost not very important to the story they're trying to tell.
Yeah.
And it worked most of the time.
It almost only works if he's a bad wrestler.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, so Gabigan in our Twitch chat brought up Kane, but he started with Isaac Yankem as Kane's first, Glenn Jacobs' first character, and that's not right
true.
either. Kane,
lest we forget the Christmas creature.
oh, there's even more than that. So
It's just Glenn Jacobs.
Kane is a tale of just keep trying anything until something sticks. So he started as Angus King, then Doomsday, then the Christmas creature, then Mike Unabomb, then Isaac Yankem, then Fake Diesel, and then finally Kane, the Undertaker's half brother. Kane then removed his mask, which at first was rough, but then he became a semi-comedic character, and that worked really well. Then he became Corporate Kane, which I think wasn't nearly as popular. And then
Yeah, when he had the half, after he came back with the half mask.
and then he was just kind of done at that point. But overall, very long run, and most of that run as Kane, extremely popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And now he's a mayor.
now he runs towns.
Now he fixes potholes.
Hey, mayor. Yeah, and just like being able to keep relevant with that character. You know, it's kind of the same. We'll get to him in a second, but like the same with the Undertaker. Like,
Yeah.
being able to keep, like, you changed all these characters, but you found something that worked and you slightly tweaked it here and there. But like being able to do that for so long, like,
Yeah.
that's really
With Kane, who barely has any story.
yeah.
And didn't have, aside from, I think, the only time he ever had story is when he had a partner. And so he had story with The Undertaker. He had story with X-Pac. He had a story with Daniel Bryan. But beyond that, his just whole story was, yeah, I got burned alive by Undertaker as a kid. Now I'm back.
Back, baby.
You know, there wasn't much to explore.
I'm back with the
beyond that.
burns.
So it was all about just trying to get him to be a human in society again, which was weird.
Can you teach me to football?
But honestly, his runs with X-Pac and Daniel Bryan are my two favorite versions of Kane ever.
He is so lucky that they didn't convince him to go with green trunks. Because they were going to.
I would have done it. I would have been all for it.
I've seen the artwork.
I would have been all for the green outfit.
So a story of good to should have been bad but was great to bad to really bad to great to the best. I want to talk about Dustin Rhodes.
Oh, okay.
Because Dustin Rhodes started off as the natural Dustin Rhodes.
Yes.
In WCW. And he had, people forget, he had a career as Dustin Rhodes in WCW prior to what he would eventually become as Goldust.
Yeah.
So he goes over to the WWE, and they want to put him in a skin suit and paint him gold and make him really weird, and kept using the word androgynous, which he later revealed he had to look up in a dictionary because he agreed to do it. It's like, I had no idea what it was. But you look at that character and it's like, that character was supposed to fail. That was supposed to be a successful character.
That shouldn't have worked.
But somehow it really, really, really did. It worked so much.
Yeah, I mean, he had mid-card popularity, but it was still popularity.
But he had like mid-card popularity with Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Or Rowdy Piper.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper. Roddy. And like Booker T, his stories with Booker T and his stories with all these other guys. And then he goes back to WCW.
Ugh.
And we're introduced to Seven. Mm-mm. And Seven, in his words, not mine, looks like Uncle Festus. Was portrayed to might have been a pedophile? Child abductor?
It was uncomfortable, yeah.
The vignettes were just him staring at kids. Unfortunately, the first night he came out, he was like, "Can we just not do this?" Went on national television, was like, "I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just gonna wrestle." Went back to WWE, was Goldust for a little bit longer, and then he was in TNA. And in TNA, he was Black Rain.
I forgot about
and
his
Black
TNA
Rain
run.
was the worst of them all, because they tried to take what made Goldust popular, or they tried to take Goldust and recreate it, but they took all of the stuff that made Goldust out and just painted his face and was like, it's the same thing. But it wasn't the same thing. So it was like a really psychotic Goldust that it was very, very murdery kind of thing. It was very strange. And he had gained a whole lot of very unflattering weight. Not to say I have it all my dang self, but it was just bad. So then he goes back as Goldust in WWE a few years later. And now we see him just as Dustin Rhodes, as kind of this amalgamation of he does the half face painting,
half Goldust.
Yeah, he's paying tribute to that kind of, but with different colors and different kind of mindset, and it just really, really, really works.
Yeah,
it might be the best of the development.
Yeah, I love him over there. I did really like his brief run with R-Truth, though. That was also very fun. The Golden Truth was one of my favorites. All right. I got one that's not as drastic of changes, but still pretty significant, and that's Triple H. He's probably one of the best journeys, most of which with the same name. Now, he did start as Terra Rising in IWF, and then he had two different spellings of that same name in WCW. And then he switched to a French aristocrat, Jean-Paul Levesque, in WCW. And then he joined WWF in 95, keeping that aristocrat villain thing, but now known as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And that's kind of what he stuck with. His persona started to change away from the aristocrat once he kind of joined in with the unofficial clique, which eventually would transform into DX. And then here forward, he didn't really have so much of a gimmick. He had nicknames, and he had some signature weapons and stuff like that, but he didn't really change character at all. He just changed whether or not he was going to be anti-authority or the authority, back and forth. But he was just a bad dude and ready to kick butt. That's what he was. And so he was the Game. He was in Evolution. He was Authority Triple H. He was just like this. He was the Pokemon evolution of a single character. Essentially, he just kept getting more powerful.
Really good, because he didn't really change character,
but there was still like definite level ups.
Evolved the character. That's a really good analogy, man. I mean, Digimon was the superior of the anime shows, but whatever. We're not going to talk about that. That's a different Love That Nerd podcast. So, Hulk Hogan.
All right.
Can we just talk about the Hulkster?
Please.
Say your prayers, eat your vitamins,
go to school,
obey your parents, do all that sort of stuff. All of the parent propaganda they were trying to teach children.
Eat your prayers, say your school, know your vegetables. He did this, and he was the very family. He was like he was the American hero. Real American. Yeah.
And then he went to WCW. And that transformation from regular Hulk Hogan to Hollywood Hulk Hogan, or NWO Hulk Hogan, was really drastic, and might I say, one of the boldest changes out there. Because everybody loved Hulk Hogan, and then suddenly he's like, I'm going to try to make everybody hate me.
And he really wrestled with that decision for the longest time.
But even looking at like the physical change in his character, like he was this big, WWF, he was the big, broad, action figure, lifting the stinky old giant kind of guy. And then when he got to WCW, and people talk about this, people think that his time on drugs started with WCW because he had like really leaned out, and like physically he was not the same domineering human being.
Yeah.
But Eric Bischoff one time was talking about it and said that's actually Hulk Hogan without drugs. Like that's the first time you saw what Hulk Hogan was supposed to look like.
How God made him.
Yeah, and so I think that I don't think he gets enough credit for really changing his entire personality and becoming a different person.
Wow.
Successfully, I might add.
Yep, it was good. Since we're on WCW, we'll talk about Sting. Started as that...
I forgot about Sting's changes.
That bleach blonde Ultimate Warrior carbon copy.
Yeah.
Then became Crow Sting, obviously the most popular version of Sting. Went to TNA, became Joker Sting, modeled after the Heath Ledger Joker. Wasn't the best run, but you know what? Of all the people on TNA at the time, he was one of the best.
He was one of them.
And then, of course, back to classic Crow Sting with his first appearance in WWE, and then now his run in AEW, which just both of which felt iconic when he showed up.
Yeah.
And still feels great in AEW.
He's definitely mixing Crow Sting and you call it Ultimate Warrior carbon copy. They came in at the same time. They were tag team partners.
Yeah. But I mean, but it was Ultimate Warrior that kept on with that gimmick, and so it became his gimmick essentially.
But he kind of brought in that personality with the Crow gimmick, and that really, really worked.
Yep. So I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about it because he's been great in whatever iteration he's been in.
Yeah, but it's just he's getting kind of up there.
Oh yeah.
You know,
he's just
still working. He's still working those characters really, really well.
Yes, he is.
Roman Reigns has gone from Roman Reigns to a more likable version of Roman Reigns, seemingly overnight. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's been like a year, but Roman Reigns has been the most must-see superstar in all of professional wrestling in a time where people weren't going to watch professional wrestling. People weren't even allowed to go watch professional wrestling, and he still stole the show. Like,
whenever he came back with those veneers, guys, he was a different man.
New teeth. Teeth make the man. It's a smile. I love it. Also in my bad, I have you had stunning Steve Austin to the ringmaster, but then he became Stone Cold. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah, it was all right. I got Bobby Lashley here, originally in WWE for a very short period, and even got a big push with his first run, but he just did not have the charisma or the mic skills, and he eventually got fired. Went to TNA, where his character did not change at all, but his presentation did, because he was paired with MVP in TNA, who became his manager and mouthpiece.
I don't think I knew that.
It was a Brock and Paul Heyman situation over in TNA. And this led WWE to re-sign him and eventually make the same pairing that has brought Lashley up to a top-tier champion.
Yeah.
And most of us are all right with that. I could have cared less about Bobby Lashley or MVP before the
hair match Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. But I really enjoy them.
Yeah.
And I believe Lashley's getting a little bit better on the mic. I do like the fact that he's still kind of rarely on it.
Yeah.
But so he saves, his good stuff for it. But like that time when he, a couple months ago, when he went nuts and kicked out all the ladies and destroyed all that set and then yelled at MVP, I thought that was absolutely great.
Yeah. And last on my list of guys, Razor Ramon and Diesel go to WCW and become Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. And they really were, I think they were just versions of themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that made them so successful is like, we're just going to be who we are. And, like Kevin Nash started off as Vinny Vegas in WCW so many years ago.
Oh, that's right.
And that was kind of rough.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I really liked that run. What's you got?
I have 3 left here, and I'll speed run them here. So here's a bad one. Alexa Bliss. She started off, of course, very different, very, just blonde-haired, generic wrestler in NXT to begin with. But with moving to WWE main roster and everything, she just kind of had this same snotty, short butt kicker heel that everybody loves, 5 Feet of Fury and all that. But then recently she joined forces with The Fiend, and it was a compelling slow build story.
Yeah.
Like it was week after week, just a little bit more of the story where she was kind of getting brainwashed slowly by The Fiend. And, you had her best friend, Ash, what's her name? Super Ashley? Super Ash? Almost
Nikki
a superhero?
Cross.
Nikki Cross, there we go. Trying to, pull her out of it and, say, don't go to the Fiend's dark side. But now, it had a lot of promise. And then they're like, well, we'll just give you the whole Fiend gimmick.
Because we're going to get rid of the Fiend.
Because we're going to get rid of the Fiend. And also, here's a dumb puppet that nobody likes that we're going to marry you to for the rest of your career, it feels like.
Good luck with that.
So, I hate that, yeah. A couple of good ones. Matt Hardy is very similar to Mick Foley. He has multiple personalities that he switches between. Extreme Matt Hardy, version 1 Matt Hardy, Big Money Matt, Broken Matt, Damascus Matt. I mean, all beautiful stuff. What to make these more compelling is that it's all the work he does on his own, like filming his own segments for YouTube and just all the character and world building that he's done for himself outside of the promotions that has brought him into this popularity within the promotions. I really had high hopes for WWE bringing him in and getting to that broken/woken character they tried, and they just wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him have the reins enough.
No.
And so they just didn't. They didn't understand it. They didn't trust him, and didn't ever work out. Let's see. And then the last one I don't really have a whole lot of story for, but it's just Jericho. Jericho was Lionheart, Y2J, the silent jerkwad version of Jericho, the List of Jericho guy with the scarf and the fedora, the Painmaker Jericho over in Japan, the Demo God over in AEW right now. Like he's again one of those evolving characters.
Yeah, he's definitely done a good job of reinventing himself a whole bunch of times.
It's been beautiful.
Well, if you have a favorite character change that we missed, or maybe you have one that failed so miserably we forced it out of our own brains and decided never to mention it again, head on over to our socials at 2 words LTN, and give us a like, give us a subscribe, whatever you're on. Hit that button for following us for all sorts of fun content and all sorts of fun stuff. I feel like we've been posting more on our socials, getting a little bit better, posting some funny stuff. Maybe we'll make some good content later. I know we keep saying that, but
we're getting there.
And hopefully some fun stuff coming out soon. But until then, I don't really have much. Hopefully I know I talked about our big secret last podcast, and that has still yet to come to fruition. So I'm not going to make any promises because I don't want to break no promises.
We got an interview with someone.
And his name is John Cena.
Not at all.
And his name is
sorry. Turn off. Stop it. Stop.
And his name
Turn
is
off. The button wouldn't stop going.
Maybe his name is John Cena. So hopefully we'll be able to bring you guys that very soon. But
Well, not that, but whatever it is.
yeah, whatever it is, we'll be able to do it very soon. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Head on over to LTN Radio and follow them. Follow Love Thy Nerd and all of the other fun podcasts they have. And that's about it for me. So until next time, my name's John. His name's Matt. And if you're not down with that, well, we got 2 words for you. Bye.